Okay, it is 7:04. It's time to call this meeting to order. Everybody would stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Sherman, if you'd like to lead us in the opening prayer.
Certainly. Lord, we'd like to ask you to give us guidance tonight in making our decisions one for the city and keep efforts to a minimum and keep everybody safe for this year and beginning of next year. Amen.
Amen. All right.
I almost made you cheesy.
I know you did. That's all I thought you were laughing. All right, sweet. Ms. Harmony, if you call the roll.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Sherman?
Here.
Mr. Dumpy?
Here.
Ms. Grant? Here. Mr. Booth?
Here.
Ms. Jones? Here.
All right. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the November 23rd, 2020 and the December 14th regular meeting?
Yeah, Dan, did you read those?
I did.
Oh, I thought you voted no for the police thing,
No.
the first one.
He voted no to suspend.
Yeah, I voted no on the ordinance change.
I just thought it
Because
said,
it was unclear to me what we were doing.
right, I think it said everybody voted yes in the minutes.
I missed that.
All right, that was the December,
No,
It was the first
the
one.
November
23rd.
23rd. The
Yeah.
23rd? Okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, motion to approve.
Second,
Mr. Taylor?
Yeah.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
yes,
Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Okay. I believe we have the treasurer's report. Everybody got it in their email. I can read it if Mike's not.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Taylor. Mike, are you there? I don't think so. Okay. Go ahead, Taylor.
This is the treasurer's report prepared by Mr. Mullane for November through November 30th. You'll see on the first page here just the different account balances, including the main concentration account or sweep account, the different money market and CD balances that equal up to $3 million at the time. Larger than our typical balances, but we got several reimbursement checks for major project expenses before we wrote the check out. So just a little point of order. On the next page, you'll see the record of investments he's prepared. The first one is the money market, which is interest bearing, and then as well as it looks like he's calling them the small and the large CDs, just based off amount. Brings us to a total of $16,000 in interest. We were on track, but before the Fed lowered interest rates, we were on track for like 40 grand this year, but the Fed rates went to zero, and so did our interest investment amounts. The next page is just the bank reconciliation. You'll see a list of debits and credits to the account, organized in different ways that he has here, as well as the beginning bank balance. And let's see. On the last page, he just continues to go through it, everything from OWDA expenses to grant expenses to payroll, IRS, and comes down to, we found no differences. On the bottom of the last page, a $0 difference between what he was seeing in the bank and what we had posted in the books. So
Great job, guys.
another good month. And then as far as the auditor's report, I asked for the council president's permission to present it in January. One, you guys already have a ton of reports tonight, but two, I could give just all of 2020's, just finish out 2020 after New Year's.
And a way to get a more accurate report.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
yes,
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes. All right. And moving on to the mayor's court report.
Okay. Greg, I can email you a copy of this if you want. So, in the beginning of 2020, January, February, March, right around 1,800, 900, 1,200, April was 400, May was about 1,400, July, 1,000, and August was 2,600. Since Fitch has been aboard and the new police officers, Mayor's Court's been getting a little bit more profitable. In September, we have collected, not what we put on the books, but what we have collected is 2449, 3944 in October, 2405 in November, and 3552 in December. Now, what we have uncollected is probably double that, but these people are on payment plans, but this is just what we've collected so far. Code enforcement in September, 527, October, 154, 154 in November, and 144 in December. And again, that's what we've collected, not what's actually on the books. All in all, traffic tickets without overtime has been collected up to $11,000, 515. And with total mayor's court through September, from September through December, not to mention what we've collected, a little bit we collected in the past, has been $12,494. And that's in 4 months. That's what we've collected, and I would say we have at least double that in outstanding balances that are on payment plans. So it's nice to see a police force doing their job for a change.
That makes up for everything we spent on the computer software.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, that's just 4 months.
Covers that whole thing.
And you want to give an update on the computer?
So the computer, our program, they have everything we need, all the fines, fees, officers, badge numbers. Like I sent them an updated list on the officers, of course, now, but we should have that hopefully early to mid-January. They're entering all the information into the program, and then they'll send us the program and training. Sorry, Jonah, by the way, I just want to say that, a lot of this is due to her collections, and she's doing an outstanding job at Mayor's Court Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
We have to.
You have to approve it. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Dunphy,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
Yes.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Jones. Yes. Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any citizens' comments there, Mr. Frank?
Nothing yet, other than everyone was anxiously waiting to see your faces after Becky's done with her presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. So any business and organizational comments? We have anything? No? Okay. Committee discussions. Mr. Sherman, we had a police and fire committee meeting, and we also had a utilities committee meeting.
We did. So in the police and fire meeting, we talked about level 1 contract as well as staffing and what am I missing? What's Frank help?
It was to 911 contract to leave with the county and then
Oh, and then,
negotiations.
And then negotiations with Hoffman College. So it was a very quick and simple meeting. Not a whole lot of discussion on that.
Okay.
You can also see it online. Tune into the utility meeting too well.
Mr. Smith, do you have anything about the utility meeting you'd like to add?
Yeah, we went to a list of about 10 different things on the utility committee. And like maybe 8 of them is going to entail more investigation by the city manager. We did bring in a rate increase tonight I did spend the day checking the figures on the rate increase, and it is correct. I didn't think it was correct before I started checking. What has happened was we were supposed to only bring in 6% raise this year, but our collections are off because of COVID and things being shut up. So be able to make the payment in 2023, we're forced to go 8% tonight on the sewer rate. However, that still ends up being less than a penny a gallon to process sewage, and that rate is still an excellent rate within the whole southeastern Ohio for a penny a gallon to process sewage. So we're doing pretty good. We didn't do as good as we had hoped, but that was basically because of COVID.
All right. Well, thank you very
And
much.
it for those that want to watch the whole discussion, it is online at our YouTube page.
All righty, Mr. Smith, you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else, anyone? Nothing? Okay. All right, let's go on to code enforcement update. Clock's running, Becky.
Can you guys hear me?
Sure can. Breaking up.
Put her big face on. No.
Go ahead, Becky.
All right, so sorry guys, I got to get my slideshow here. All right. November and December, 18 warnings were issued and 1 citation was given. This is a map. It's new on our software for the city. All the orange dots indicates this year's code violations. So as you look at the map, you'll see the areas of the city that has the most issues.
Oh, looks like Halloween.
Big one.
The whole city.
So this is where I've been all year long. All right, so far we have 427 rental registrations that have come into my office. We've collected $12,810. So we're about at the third mark of getting our rental registrations in. I just want to remind the citizens, all the landlords in town and out of town, if you're watching, you have till February 1st to get those in. So try to get those in January. Anything after February 1st, you get a late fee of $100 per rental. So try to get those in or communicate with me if you're having issues with that, so we can make other arrangements.
Ordinance go into effect.
January 1st.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everyone, since we got the snow for Christmas Eve and Christmas, that just make sure that you're keeping the streets clear. The sidewalks clear. It's very important that you shovel your sidewalks. It's your responsibility within 12 hours after the snowfall has ended. So it's just a friendly reminder to keep your sidewalks clear. And I just want to thank everyone for their support. And I'm putting up my contact information. If the citizens are trying to get a hold of me, they can email me. They can call me, my office number, and they can also get Text My Gov.
Well, Becky, I just want to say thank you for all the hard work you do. And, everything you do with the fire department, the city building, just about anybody that asks you to do anything, you usually jump right in there and Just want you to know we do appreciate all your hard work.
She likes children. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Barber, for everything that you do. We appreciate it. The city is looking better and better every day. Also, I'd like to, what's that?
Go for my tailcoat.
Oh, it's so big, you can't miss this one. Oh, but anyway, thank you very much and appreciate it.
It has to be big to carry his.
Absolutely, you guys. I love my job, and that's what I do. I care about the city, and I care about the citizens in the city.
Thank you, Becky.
Absolutely.
Give her a raise.
You've been working with her, haven't you? Scott?
Yeah.
Everybody gets time limits.
That was 48 minutes one time. What's the number now?
34.
34, okay.
Oh, you talking about their PowerPoint?
PowerPoint.
That was almost a 2-hour gig.
2 hours. I ran out of Mentos and everything else. All right, now we are moving on. We have a second reading of ordinance 98-20. If you would, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to say, again, with this ordinance 103, we are going to read the one from the last meeting for a second reading.
Correct.
So we'll be reading that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 90-20, an ordinance extending the income tax mix change of 95 to 5 to March 31st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Whereas Nelsonville needs to extend the income tax mix change of 95% to general fund and 5% to capital improvements fund, March 31st, 2021. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Ohio, that the income tax mix change of 95% to the general fund and 5% to the capital improvements fund is extended to March 31st, 2021. This ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 731.30 because the immediate passage of the ordinance is necessary because the current income tax mix is due to expire on December 31st, 2020, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on second reading the 29th day of December 2020.
Any council discussion? Everybody knows what's going on.
Motion to suspend.
It's a second reading.
Let's go adopt.
It is the second.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones? Yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes. Ordinance 101-20. Second reading.
An ordinance adopting temporary appropriation from January 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2021. Whereas temporary appropriations need adopted from January 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2021. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Adams County, Ohio as follows. Temporary appropriations are hereby adopted for the period from January 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2021, in accordance with Exhibit A attached to and incorporated. The auditor is authorized to request a certificate of resources from the Adams County Budget Commission, and said funds are not appropriated until said certificate of resources is received. This ordinance shall become effective at the earliest date provided by law. Duly enacted by council on second reading the 29th day of December 2020.
Any council discussion on this? Motion to adopt.
So move. Second.
Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance,
Okay, now we got stuff to the 103.
yeah, the 103-20.
This is the original one.
Yep,
Yeah.
the original.
The second reading.
An ordinance setting the authorized staff in the police department and declaring an emergency. Whereas the staffing in the police department needs to be modified. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Nelsonville, Ohio, that the staffing in the police department is as follows. Chief and 9 full-time police officers, 1 part-time police officer, and 1 part-time clerk. Ordinance 96-20, adopted on December 14th, 2020, is repealed. This ordinance is being passed, I just think we need duly enacted by council on second reading the 29th day of December 2020. Now, the one you have is the new one that I got. This is the one that we read at the last meeting.
The last meeting, it has an emergency.
So Carla, the one you're looking at is,
I don't have any period. Mine goes from 101 to 104.
well, 103,
Well, there's 103 in there somewhere, but I don't have it either, so
I got this one.
somebody's got a couple.
Justin had
Well,
one.
I
I've
can
got
read
one
that.
Just then.
Paper redundancy,
Pretty
baby.
It's got an emergency clause on it too.
Well, it's good as a second reading.
Second reading.
But it also has an
Right.
emergency clause on it. So emergency clause makes it effective immediately.
Oh,
If it passes by
Okay.
5 votes, the emergency stays. If it passes by 4, it's legal.
Okay.
You want me to
And
read
this is
that?
the one we want, because the one we talked about last week didn't have the part-time officer in it, right? Was that the difference?
Well, so, yeah, so 103 is gonna get rid of a part-time position, but this one here is the original one with the 9 officers,
one
chief,
part-time.
part-time clerk, and part-time officer.
Okay.
That's the original staffing ordinance now.
It doesn't say part-time.
That's
That's
a
the
new
new
ordinance
That's the
for,
new
to
one.
get rid of the
That's
part-time.
that's another ordinance. That's the new one. It's got the same number,
It's gonna
'cause that's
delete,
how I got it.
it's gonna delete the,
It'll have a different, it'll be,
Part-time.
it'll have a different,
So this one isn't.
that's not the one being done.
so the one that she just read is the one.
The one that's up right now is second reading for the one that has the part-time officer in it. You got another one in the mail that will delete the part-time officer. That's not the one you're doing.
So,
Okay.
right, we didn't want to amend it because it doesn't take back the first reading.
Well, wait a minute. If you're introducing a new ordinance to replace
We're not.
this one,
We're not, Greg. This is the
What do
original
you-
ordinance. This is the second reading of the ordinance that had the part-time officer still listed. Later on, there's another ordinance that was circulated that deletes the part-time officer, and that would have to be introduced as a separate ordinance later on tonight if you want to do it, or later, period. Another
that's what I was saying. But
Okay.
We're saying the same thing.
meeting. Okay.
All right. Any council discussion on it?
Motion to adopt?
Second sentence.
Mr. Smith,
No,
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
No.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Okay, 5 voted for it, so it passes with the emergency clause. We'll go into
It
second reading.
becomes effective immediately.
okay.
Now we are moving.
Now I have this one. Now, you want me to just number this 104, and we'll just change all the numbers?
Well, I would just hold that till the end of the meeting, because there is already a number 104, so we'll have to.
Okay, all right.
Add to the last one.
We're moving on to first readings, and we are moving on to ordinance 104-20. I need someone to introduce it.
I just,
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to cancel the contract for 911 with the Athens County Commissioners and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city desires to cancel its contract for 911 services with the Athens County Commissioners effective January 1st, 2021. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Nelsonville, Ohio, that the city manager is hereby authorized to cancel the 911 contract with Athens County Commissioners effective January 1st, 2021. This ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 731.30, because the immediate passage of the ordinance is necessary so that the 911 contract can be canceled by January 1st, 2021, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on first reading under suspension of the rules the 29th day of December 2020.
Any council discussion on this? Anything? Okay, motion to suspend?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. We are moving on to ordinance 105-20. Need someone to introduce it?
Introduce.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to negotiate a new 911 contract with Hawken College for up to $70,000 annually and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city desires to contract for 911 services with the Hawken College effective January 1st, 2021. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Nelsonville, Ohio, that the city manager is hereby authorized to negotiate a 911 contract with Hawken College for up to $70,000 effective January 1st, 2021. This ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 731.30 because the immediate passage of the ordinance is necessary so that the 911 contract can be negotiated by January 1st, 2021, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on first reading under suspension on the 29th day of December 2020.
Any council discussion on this?
Yeah, I didn't see the new contract. I know were some questions. Did those get answered about, like, if they get raises? And I don't see, is it still like a 3-year contract?
Right, I haven't made any of those changes yet until you guys give me the authority to contact and start negotiating.
Up to $70,000.
I have a question. I just want to make sure that the in contract's approved by the law director. The first contract that was circulated, I don't know who drew it up, but it was not the work of an attorney, and I just want to make sure that before the actual contract's signed, that our city law director approves the contract.
That will be made sure of. Just to be clear, if there's any questions, this is $70,000, up to $70,000 for 1 year. You still call 911 in the event of emergency. This is for normal dispatching services, 24 hours a day for the city of Nelsonville. Like I said, let's repeat this. 911 emergencies, you still call them, okay? They will dispatch. All right. So I think that takes care of question Vicky had. Yes, it is up to $70,000.
One other thing, Tony, I think we go back to the original 911 configuration when it was first established, because at that time the city of Nelsonville had dispatching, and we will return to having dispatching. So the plan should be just like before we made the change.
Right. All right. And anybody else? Do you have any more questions? Anyone?
Motion to suspend.
I'll second that.
Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Take it easy. She's right. You too.
All right, so far so good. Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes. Okay. on. We've got a ordinance, this is the ordinance for the sewer increase, ordinance 106-20. Someone introduce it.
I introduce.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance increasing the sewer rates effective February 1st, 2021, and declaring an emergency. Whereas sewer rates must be increased effective January 1st, 2021 to meet the funding requirements for the new sewer plant. Now, by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Ohio, that effective February 1st, 2021, the sewer rates are increased as follows. Sewer rates in town, 1,500 gallons minimum.
1,500 gallons.
The 2020 rate was 1,550. The 2021 rate is 1,674. Every 1,000 gallons over the 1,500 for 2020, it was $9.36. It will become $10.11 in 2021. Out of town, 1,500 gallon minimum was $23.24 in 2020 and will be $25.10 in 2021. And every 1,000 gallons over the 1,500 was $14.05 in 2020 and will become $15.17 in 2021. Hocking County Commissioners per 1,000 gallons was $4 in 2020 and will be $4.32 in 2021. This ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 731.30 because the immediate passage of the ordinance is necessary so that the sewer rate increase will be effective on February 1st, 2021, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on first reading under suspension of the rules on the 29th day of December, 2020.
Any council discussion on this?
So this is all money to go towards prepayment for the sewer plant.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah,
After reviewing the numbers and everything else, should we make this effective January 1st instead of February 1st? We've already done the readings for January, so even if we made it effective January 1st, it still wouldn't have any effect till the February bill.
I don't know that a month's gonna make a difference in collections, but we are lagging behind, because, schools being closed and not as many students at Hocking. People, we're not having the flow. We're not getting the revenue that we had projected, so we are lagging behind. And in 2023, or maybe the end of 2022, we have to make a $324,000 payment every year. We're financing of almost $5 million or maybe $4.25 million out of an $18 million plant. So we're doing pretty good as new plants go, but we have to be able to make that payment in 2023.
So if I could add one more nugget to that, the budget that Auditor Sappington and myself presented to you folks was inclusive of that being effective January 1st. So if it doesn't go into effect till February 1st, it will alter that budget slightly.
Well, let's make it January 1st.
I mean, how much money are we talking that extra month?
I mean, for the whole year, it'll be a difference of 80 to 100,000. So 5, 6 for a month.
Somebody make a motion.
Motion to amend the ordinance to read January 1st instead of February.
I'll second it. Then we'll have to suspend the rules, and that won't matter, right, Gary?
Right.
Okay. We'll vote on the amendment now.
Vote on the amendment.
Okay. Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
No,
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Motion to adopt. Whatever. I'm
Motion.
waiting.
So moved.
I'm ready.
Okay, motion to adopt.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
no,
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to use the last one, because it's a double. We're going to use the last one, ordinance number 107-20 to read the new staffing ordinance for the police.
What about ordinance 7?
107 is a repeat.
107-20.
It's repeat.
I lost me.
Oh, okay. So
This is the
this
new
will
one.
be ordinance 7.
Is there an appropriations ordinance missing here?
No, the appropriation was done earlier.
That was in the second.
The temporary appropriation, but the appropriation we need to do to clean up the line items that I sent last week.
Is that the right language for it? The title's wrong. The title is talks about the sewer.
It does say appropriations ordinances amendments.
I guess So,
The title is wrong on it.
yeah, because it says Exhibit A, and that's what you sent out.
which ordinance number is that?
107-20.
Oh,
It's just like
Oh, the
Corey said,
title's
the
wrong. I'm
title's
sorry.
wrong,
Title's.
That's
Oh,
what,
yeah, that's it.
so we can't use that one.
Yeah, so the title,
so that is a necessary ordinance. It just has the title copied from another one.
So what is this one? The
107, so because of the negative line items that get run because of payroll, this is our cleanup ordinance. That's usually looks a little different, but we're trying a new approach at it.
let me see.
So what should the title
I'll give
be?
it.
Here,
Should just be a-
here's gonna give it up. He said he'll give it up.
It's just a normal appropriations, but with an
Yeah,
exhibit because
it's
there's
the
so
first
many.
line of Susan, an appropriation ordinance is, an ordinance amending the 2020 appropriation ordinance in accordance with Exhibit A. See what I'm saying?
That's the title.
That's the title. An appropriation ordinance amending the 2020 appropriation ordinance.
All right, well, let's give that a shot.
Okay. What'd you say?
I said, let's give that a shot.
I can write it down for you.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I forget stuff. Okay, let's introduce that.
Alrighty.
All right, let's see. An appropriations ordinance.
You doing the title?
I'm doing the title.
Appropriation ordinance amending
Amending
2020 appropriation ordinance.
amending the 2020 appropriations ordinance in accordance with Exhibit A.
That's all you need to say.
Okay. Whereas the appropriation ordinance needs to be amended to finalize the 2020 appropriations. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Nelsonville, Athens County, Ohio as follows. The 2020 appropriations ordinance is amended in accordance with Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference to finalize 2020 appropriations for the year as of December 31st, 2020. Total appropriations are increased and decreased by said amount. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect at the earliest moment permitted by law. Duly enacted by council on first reading under suspension of the rules, 29th day of December, 2020.
Any council discussion on this? Okay. Motion to suspend.
So moved.
Second.
Let's give it Thunder Day.
That's the last one.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Dumpy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes,
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
yes,
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Move to adopt.
I'll second that.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
yes,
Ms. Grant?
okay, I knew it was that.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
yes,
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Stopping ordinance will happen to be 108. So, ordinance 108-20.
who'd like to introduce it?
Alright,
An ordinance setting the authorized staff in the police department and declaring an emergency. Whereas the staffing in the police department needs to be modified. Now therefore be ordained by the council of the city of Nelsonville, Ohio, that the staffing in the police department is as follows. Chief and 9 full-time officers and 1 part-time clerk. Ordinance 96-20 adopted on December 14, 2020 is repealed. This ordinance is being passed as an emergency measure pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 731.30. Because the immediate passage of the ordinance is necessary so the police staff levels can be effective immediately to increase police officer staffing as soon as possible, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. Duly enacted by council on first reading and the suspension of the rules, 29th day of December 2020.
Any council discussion on this?
Yeah, what will happen to the part-time officer?
It's deleted.
I know it's deleted, but do we currently have a part-time officer?
We do, he will be laid off. There's no requirement in the labor contract that we guarantee any hours to part-time officers.
Chief plus a part-time clerk.
And Susan, there's a clerical change. The ordinance it's repealing is actually
The one we just
not adopted
passed.
yet.
motion to suspend?
Okay.
Give that to Taylor.
Okay.
That on Disney play. Why did he play it disappeared?
What?
Oh, no.
Tony took it.
Probably did.
He's got it sitting on his
Free
computer.
of here. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Look at that.
His magic is
That was down there too.
Oh,
The whole thing moved down there. Oh my goodness.
Tony was probably playing with it.
this one says Ralph Davis.
I'll guarantee it. Come on.
Okay, are you ready for roll call? On suspension?
On suspension, yeah. Yep.
Mr. Dumpy,
Yes, ma'am.
Grant,
no.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman.
Yes. Motion to adopt?
Second.
I'm ready.
Ms. Grant.
No.
Booth,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we are moving on to the city manager's report. Mr. Frank, if you would take it away.
You bet. So I'd first like to start out with a certificate of appreciation for Mr. Robert Ryan from Jefferson Street. All summer long, he went around and pruned a lot of the trees for the city at no charge, and he just cleaned up a lot of the debris from trees and helped out with the tree commission. So we just did up a little certificate of appreciation for him, and we'll get it to him, but I want to make sure we publicly recognize him and thank him for all his efforts.
Wow. Thank you very much. Awesome.
So, with that said, more good news. Over the week prior to Christmas, the fire department knocked it out of the park. They did the Santa parade. PD went along with them. It was a huge success. Folks were coming out on the porch, down to the curb. Lots of good feedback. Then they did the toy giveaway, and then wrapped up the week with the food baskets that we all went out and delivered. And it was just 3 great events. Lots of positive feedback. Really good stuff for the community. The water tower, to bring that up again, from on top of Mason City Hill, should close next week. So that will be a city asset if everything goes smoothly next week. The plowing from the snow the other night, the city crews did a fantastic job. They were out there, I believe they started around 3:30 on Christmas Eve and went through till mid-morning Christmas morning. And a lot of people reported back that our streets look better than neighboring cities. So I'm really proud of their efforts. And in addition to that, we got another plow truck today. City trucks arrived. It's a 2020 3/4 ton Dodge with the salt spreader and another plow. So that'll be 3 plows for the small trucks and then 2 big truck plows.
If I may, I also want to mention that for the first time in the history of Nelsonville, we had a city manager out there plowing the streets.
In a chicken costume. So, it was anyways, moving on. The water rates, just to go along with the sewer rate increase, all the recommendations backed by the experts, midsummer with the increase also had the water, rate increasing at the same rate. So that'll be effective January 1st as well. The last thing is the police department, completed their testing and interview process for the police officers. On the interview board was myself, prosecutor, the lead investigator for prosecutor office, Jay Barrett, and then of course Chief Fitch. With that said, I would like to ask council to make permanent Mr. KJ Tracy, Chris Jones, and Ben Adams. They've been with us for almost 6 months now as conditional, so I'd like to make them permanent.
How is there, has there been any review done of their performance?
Absolutely. So let me give you their scores and reviews. So the performance reviews are good to go, way better than expected. Those will be available. I don't know what the rules are for theirs off the top of my head, what's available and what's not available, but Chief Fitch is in the middle of completing all those. However, I did want to share their scores. So Mr. Tracy scored a 94 on the civil service test and a 93 on the interview. Mr. Jones scored an 84 on the civil service test. 14 of those were military points, and then he got a 90 on the interview, and Mr. Ben Adams got a 70 on the civil service test and a 95 on the interview score.
And this is who the chief was?
Yes.
Okay.
You had to make them one at a time. I think Gary said we had to vote on one at a time, so make it one at a time.
Okay. Mr. KJ Tracy.
Motion to accept the city manager's recommendation on hiring Tracy.
I'll second that.
Mr. Booth,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Duffy,
Absolutely.
Ms. Grant.
Yes,
Motion to approve the hiring of
Chris Jones.
Officer Jones on the recommendation of the city manager.
Second.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman, or Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman, I just get excited. Mr. Duffy,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
yes,
Mr. Booth,
Yes. And then one last time, a motion to approve the hiring of Mr. Ben Adams on the recommendation of the city manager.
Second.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Duffy.
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Mr. Booth.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would note they would still have to complete their probationary period of time.
Correct. That is a year from their,
Today.
official hire date, full time.
So with that, I got 2 more now. So we had one officer resign, Officer Bale resigned. So I would like to, per Chief Fitch recommendation, recommend Mr. Ian Fennell to you folks. Mr. Fennell scored an 89 on his civil service tests. Some of those were military points. Let me see. It was. So you got a 74 without the military points and 89 with the military points.
Okay, where is Mr. Fennell from?
So Mr. Fennell is from Washington County. He previously has worked with the Meg Sheriff, I believe what's the college in Marietta?
Washington State or Marietta?
Marietta College. And he's, a long time ago, he was at, Pomeroy and then also Middleport. He brings he's a very experienced officer. He brings a different dynamic in that he has a background, with cyber. So it's, he has a little bit with the online tracing some of those down, identity theft, type capability, which we don't currently have on the force.
So we've done a background check. He's passed all that.
He has passed the background check. We are waiting, well, pending your approval, then we will start the medical process. And then after the medical process is complete with your, if you approve, then we would hire. We're not gonna bring him on until everything is done paperwork wise. So we don't get any more fines from OPNF.
Where is he currently employed?
Currently, he is unemployed. So,
Real quick question, not to change the subject. Do we need to accept the resignation of Officer Bell? No.
Okay.
Motion.
And then this is Chief Fitch's recommendation.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't know that it matters, but he's been riding with Officer Jones probably for a month now.
I
just
met
about-
him Christmas Eve or
Mhm.
not Christmas Eve, I'm sorry, during the Christmas gift thing.
So he's been doing lots of ride-alongs with the department.
Really? Motion to accept the city manager's recommendation based on Chief Fitch's recommendation to hire Officer
Ian.
Mr. Fennell.
Ian Fennell.
How do you spell that?
Ian, last name is Fennell.
Everyone want a second? Or?
Seconded.
I'll second.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And with the approval of the 10th officer, if it's okay, I have a nomination for that one as well.
Go ahead there, Lucky Seven.
Yep. So Mr. Devin Tolliver scored 100 on the civil service test with his military points. He got a 63 on his interview score. He's fresh out of the Army. He's a Nelsonville guy, born and raised, went and did his Army time and has come back. He's living back in Nelsonville. He completed his schooling. He is completely green when it comes to police department experience, but that's exactly what the chief would like to have.
What was his name?
Devin Tolliver.
Oh, I know that name.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is, he's passed, have we done background on him?
So the background's good on him as well. The issue, or same, is just the medical.
So we're doing medical. Okay, and this is what the chief wants.
Absolutely.
Okay, motion to approve the hiring of Devin Tolliver on the recommendation of the city manager.
So moved. Or second. Was that your motion or were you asking for a motion? Okay, I'll second.
I was gonna jump on the second, but I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
You jumped on it now, second.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, it was brought to my attention, to do a motion to extend the city manager's contract until February 28th, 2021. Because he is currently at 31st, he's out of the contract.
Huh. At will.
At will employee.
I never unpacked my stuff from the last time. It's still packed up.
Okay. Good.
Which shift are you getting on?
The ships are unpacked.
So, with that motion, I need a second.
I'll take a second on that.
Mr. Becky?
Yeah.
Grant?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and now I think we're done with, is there anything else we need to approve or hire or? Okay, all right, so let's go to the good of the order and, I would, Ms. Grant, if you'd start us off.
I would just like to say, I hope next year is a better year, and, everyone have a happy and great new year.
Mr. Booth?
I'll try to keep it brief, but, as it's just more of a message of hope, but, as everybody knows, I coach junior high basketball, and it's been good to see those kids out, they're enthusiastic, in all sports, just not just basketball, but everything, boys and girls that are going on. Hopefully we'll get back to normal here soon and, start to enjoy life a little more than being closed in. So, 21 is going to be a better year. So I'll to it.
Ms. Jones?
I'll just say Happy New Year. If, stay home, stay safe if you go out, have a designated driver. I'm always home.
Mr. Taylor? Or, Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith?
I just want to wish everybody a happy new year too, and hope that 2020 is behind us with the vaccine and we can get back to normal. We've been everybody's hurting. Everybody, I mean, it's affecting everybody to a great degree, and let's just hope and pray that things are better in 2021. And with that, happy new year to everyone.
Yeah, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully everybody had a great holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and happy. I look forward to the new year as well. And I'm excited to, see what progress that we make in the city also next year. I'm very excited about that. So with Mr. Frank and Mr. Sappington, I think good things are going to come. So.
Mr. Sherman?
Okay, so I'd like to thank,
Okay, that's enough time.
I'd like to thank our council clerk, and I'd also like to thank our mayor's court clerk.
And the baby Jesus.
I would like to thank Becky Barber, Chief Barber, all the city employees that work so diligently every day. We throw in Mr. Frank, but especially thanking Susan Harmony for stepping up to the plate, helping us when we needed it.
Yes, thank you.
I made cupcakes.
Oh! Happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday, James.
Those are your cupcakes.
Is that all, Mr.
That's
Sherman?
it.
Did you get everybody?
Happy New Year, everybody.
He spreads the love.
Carpet did appear.
I would like to, first of all, I'd like to wish my wife, Mickey Brooks, and Jane Harmony, who will share the birthday on the 28th. Very happy birthday. I would like to thank everyone in the city for everything that is going. It feels like the city is going right. I'd also like to apologize to Ms. Jones and to Ms. Grant for my behavior last meeting. I was a little out of character, and I'd like to apologize publicly for that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and sometimes we tend to forget that. So I'd just like to do that, and that's just the way the year needs to start off. So with that, we have an executive session, a motion to go into the executive session ORC 121-22 for personal and legal matters. I'd like to need a second for that.
We need to
Invite in Mr. Hunter, Mr. Frank, and I believe we need Mr. Sappington also in there.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Grant?
Yes.
Booth?
Yes.
Ms. Jones? Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
And, we can excuse you.
Are you sure?
What's that?
Okay, need a motion to come out of executive session?
Second.
Call the roll, Corey. Dan?
So, Mr. Dumpy,
Yes.
Ms. Grant,
Yes.
Peter,
Sir?
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman, yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Grant,
Yes.
Peter,
Shermanator? Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman, yes. Mr. Duffy?
Yes.
No. So be,
All right.
who motioned to adjourn?
Whoever you put.
Tony and,
Tony, yeah.
and Corey.
Corey seconded.
Can I kill it, guys?
Yeah.
Kill it.
Yes.
Really good.